Welcome to today's edition of Weather to Watch. We have a severe storm threat. Probably the greatest threat of the 3 days involved here would be tomorrow, Saturday. We'll talk a lot more about that. Tornadoes are possible in the deep south. Plus, we have some snow still showing up in the forecast, a lot of warm temperatures, and a pretty active jet stream next week that could lead to additional severe weather threats. Let's talk about it. Hello, welcome. I'm meteorologist Ted Kellett. The visible satellite loop for the lower 48 certainly does show the main center of attention is this weather system right here, and it has a pretty characteristic kick look to it. What do I mean by that when I show you a satellite image like this? Well, what I really mean is that you can see this banding right here, and you can see the circulation. It's a pretty sharp trough. And you can also see moisture starting to build up here in Texas with these cumulus clouds here. So all this is leading to a severe weather threat. The one I showed you in the last graphic is centered here tomorrow. There's even a slight hail risk here, but we'll outline that here in a minute. Also, if you're looking for winter, you can find it still. This little clipper system here is going to deliver some snow to the northeast. And California is getting ready to be pounded in the Sierra Nevada by heavy, heavy, heavy snows. Not quite today yet, but starting maybe late Sunday, but certainly going into early next week. 500 millibar flow confirms that we have this shortwave trough, very sharp here, running from Salt Lake City down to Baja, and difluent flow a lot. That just means the winds are spreading out like this, encouraging air to rise right in the center of this. So all this is really spelling out a pretty good intense storm. And again, its realization probably won't be tonight, but tomorrow in this area, and even extending over to here on Sunday, certainly on the table. High pressure in the east, still kind of cold in New England, with temperatures there still in the 20s and even some teens. Meanwhile, this high is moving away, southerly flows and turning here. Moisture is a little bit of an issue for the first round of storms here tonight, but then by tomorrow, not only are you closer to the Gulf, but you've had more time for it to act. Let's take a look at the radar down here, and we'll take a closer look at when we talk about severe weather in detail. But you can certainly see this upper level system is dumping a lot of rain in central New Mexico, parts of Arizona. So far, I don't see anything here indicating anything severe. And the last I checked, there were no mesoscale discussions on severe weather or watches posted, and I'm recording this right around 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. Also, some rain in the northwestern U.S. In Seattle and parts of around Portland and Salem, Oregon, getting some rain too. Very common for them for this time of year. Now let's switch gears and talk a little more detail about the severe weather threat. The Storm Prediction Center, SPC, issues forecasts for severe weather for the United States all the way out to day 8, which is really a nice service. We have a wonderful weather service and a wonderful set of forecasters in all aspects of weather, severe weather, hurricanes, climate. Anyway, here is the severe weather outlook for Friday. Today, and this is still yet to not devolve, but evolve. And this is a level 1, which is the lowest of the severe weather risk areas. So this is just kind of a marginal risk of severe weather. And it doesn't include all modes of severe weather, meaning we have tornadoes, severe winds, and hail. This really only talks about one, and I'll show you which one. And right here you can see the CSU outlook does call for hail probabilities to be kind of minimal, but there. So severe hail is 1 inch or bigger. So that's basically from Oklahoma down into West Texas, with the other ones, wind and tornado, for all practical purposes, not showing up. NATOcast, which of course is known for its tornado outlooks, also does a hail and a wind cast, and the hail is showing probably the highest probability, 15%, down there just south of Lubbock, and maybe right around the Midland area, a little bit west of there for the remainder of this evening. Here's that closer radar look that I told you about, and so far nothing striking is really showing up. Maybe a little bit of a collapse of thunder there in eastern New Mexico, but nothing yet. This is Lubbock right here. Amarillo's off the map, and the area I just talked about, which is right around, not quite over to this area here, but right along the interstate here. Here's Midland right here. That's where some of that larger hail is forecast to develop. Now let's move ahead to Saturday. Now this is a level 2 out of 5 threats. So this is what is still called, I believe, a slight risk of severe storms. So East Texas through the heart of Louisiana and even into portions of Mississippi on Saturday. And there is a tornado risk with this that is significant enough, 5% chance. That means 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of you if you're down here. So that's, 2% does show up on a lot of severe weather outlooks. 5%, is a little bit higher. In this height of spring, I've seen them go up to 15 and 30%, which is crazy. But this is something to be looked at, and it's backed up a little bit by NATOcast, actually quite a bit by NATOcast, because they've got us at 5% risk in that area as well. So it's pretty much a mirror image of the machine learning that this represents right here. If we look at the climatology, and this is nice, the severe storm, or the SPC, Storm Prediction Center, has a new set of kind of fancier graphics. So this is literally for the day, tomorrow, Valentine's Day, the 14th. And this is a 30-year, 94 to 24 kind of assessment of any severe weather. So again, that includes tornadoes, severe wind, and large hail. So this area here was the highest risk, maybe not including East Texas, but yeah, again, it's fitting into climatology pretty well. So in other words, folks that live down here are expecting severe weather to be an issue even as early as the middle part of February. There's some rain threats, not real extreme, and in fact, the rain that's expected in one area is kind of needed, but let's take a look at what we can anticipate. So first of all, I've just got the next 5 days blanket. It doesn't zero in on any particular storm or a couple of days. It just says next 5 days, where's all the precipitation going to fall? This is the one we'll talk about in a little more detail. And of course, this catches your eye out in California as well. And a lot of that is snow. Let's take a closer look, though, but examine this on a 2-day basis. So this basically is through tonight, tomorrow, and most of Sunday. And so this is the rainfall outlook. This is, again, the official Weather Prediction Center forecast. So if you see the darker red show up, that's 2 inches. Those 2 clusters right there. You may have a couple of areas there in Missouri where it gets up to 3 inches. And this whole area here hasn't seen a lot of rain over the last several months. Their drought index is moderate, so they could really use this rain. Now, having said that, when does anything ever fall in moderation perfectly anywhere? Hardly ever. But there is a heavy rain hazard. This mostly encompasses Arkansas for tomorrow. So what this means is there's a slight risk, which is at least a 15% chance that flash flood guidance will be exceeded in these areas. So that's just something to keep in mind down there in the heart of Arkansas, even into northeast Texas and portions of Oklahoma too. The 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, which starts Thursday of next week and goes through Monday, does have a little bit of a maximum area here through the Great Lakes down into the Midwest and parts of the Great Plains. A little dry in South Florida. And a really wet signal showing up in Oregon, Northern California, and Washington. As a matter of fact, if you look at the 8 to 14 day precipitation probabilities, there's a moderate risk, the second green color here, of heavy rains, even going from the 21st through the 27th for that area. So it looks like the atmospheric river is getting turned on for this area here, which is very typical for them to get floods of rain all at once. And for it just to be kind of generally rainy up there, this is the season where it rains up in California, Oregon, and Washington. Is there still some snow out there? Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Through 7 p.m. Monday, so this is a 72-hour forecast of snow by the National Weather Service, showing some pockets of not real heavy snow. We're talking about 1-2 inch pockets there in Maine, parts of upstate New York, over into Vermont. Heavier snow is probably 3, maybe 4 inches of snow there right around Syracuse, that area. Buffalo's right here. This is just little clipper systems that are moving through here, enhanced a little bit by lake effect. And then if we look at the snow forecast, just generally speaking out west, some mountain snows in Colorado, not a lot to get excited about, but again, it ramps up a little bit more in the northern Rockies there and in the Cascades. And then this snow right here really catches your eye. This is just through Monday. But if I look at this through Wednesday morning, look at these incredible snow totals in the higher elevations of California. So the scale may be kind of hard to read here, but this light yellow right here that shows up in abundance, that's anywhere from probably about 55 to 60 plus inches of snow. So 5 feet of snow basically through this area here, and including some of these areas here, the higher elevations in northwestern California as well. And as a matter of fact, the winter storm watch I'm showing you right here is in effect for those exact areas. And this starts late Sunday and goes through early next week. And if you're still talking about snow out into the extended period, so this is the 21st through the 27th, still looking at a moderate risk of snow there in the western mountains of Washington and Oregon. So, and even into Sierra Nevada still. So it looks snowy there beginning Monday and almost encompassing the rest of February. We've had some pattern changes for sure. Let me show you what is being forecast and just a flashback to what it was not that long ago and what we can look forward to. EPS Weekly comes out on Thursday nights, and then this starts on Monday, and this is basically the 500 millibar average over that 7 days, and it shows troughiness in the west. That's the when the lines dip down like that, and then this is the whether it's abnormal or not, how much below or above normal are these lines. So very below normal heights, as we call them, at 500 millibars in the northwest, and pretty much pretty intense ridge here over the central and especially the eastern U.S. So this leads to warm temperatures here generally and cooler temperatures here. And if we take a look at the same 7-day period and average it all together for surface temperatures anomaly, yep, actually I live in Springfield here, and we are sitting in the highest anomaly on average for that entire period there. Which gets probably up to about 15, 16 degrees above normal on average throughout the entire week. Now, and it is a little cool in the northwest, especially in western Canada, with that troughiness at 500 millibars. Now, just kind of make a snapshot of your mind here, and I'll take this exact same map and go back a couple of weeks. I want to show you how things have flipped. So that, again, this is all above normal temperatures here. Let's go. This is a flashback to the week beginning the 1st of the 26th of January. And look how cold this was. Even colder, actually, when you take above and below normal. This actually is registering higher than the above normal temperatures I just showed you, only in the opposite direction. I just thought that was interesting how things have flipped around. Let's take a look at the specific temperature trends. Here's the high temperature forecast for Saturday. The individual cities are the numbers here. So Little Rock will get to 70. Houston will get to 75. And very impressive for these areas for this time of year. Duluth will get to 40. Minneapolis, after shivering and shaking through early February and late January, will get to 50 for tomorrow. And all the warm colors mean above normal temperature. Practically the entire U.S. is above normal, with the epicenter there in the northern plains. That only doubles down on Monday with the epicenter of warmth over Iowa. So Minneapolis, to use them again, get up to 53. It'll be 62 in Des Moines, and Rapid City will be 62 as well. And even Denver will get in the act at 65. Starting to see some of the effects of that cooling and that troughing out over the western U.S. with some of those cooler temperatures starting to show up there. And then if we go to Wednesday, not a lot of changes. Same epicenter, maybe centered over Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois intersection there. My town here will get to 75 degrees on Wednesday, close to 80 in Oklahoma City and in Little Rock, and in the 80s throughout almost all of Texas. And the cold is starting to settle into the west a little bit more, and that's reflected in the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook Thursday through Monday, showing the eastern 2/3 of the United States, almost the eastern 3/4 of the United States, very much above normal, with the highest confidence had along the Gulf Coast, and the highest confidence of colder temperatures by far will be over Reno, those areas of eastern California and western Nevada. And all this indicates a jet stream pattern that's kind of flowing on average through here. So generally speaking, just kind of watch out for snows out west. Might be some snows hidden in the northern plains here, although it might be too warm for that. And severe weather threats I don't think are very well defined yet beyond this weekend, but I see a few. Maybe on Tuesday, maybe another one beyond that. So again, the longer you go out in time looking at those 500 millibar charts, the more error is introduced. But I still think the general setup is to be watching for that a little more carefully. I've been introducing these severe thunderstorm outlook videos now. I did one yesterday, I believe, and probably another one will be out tomorrow morning to talk about the extended threat tomorrow in the deep south that will actually shift east into the southeastern U.S. for Sunday, and then a little more discussion about what might happen next week. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching this edition of Weather to Watch. It comes out every other day, or as the weather necessitates. Please remember to share this with your friends, subscribe to the channel, or at the very least, like what you just watched. Thanks.